had always been a light sleeper, but that night, exhaustion had wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. The day had been long meetings at work, errands, cooking dinner, and making sure my 7-year-old son, Liam, finished his homework before bed. By the time I finally crawled under the covers, I barely had the energy to keep my eyes open. I drifted off almost instantly, unaware of the small feet padding quietly across the hallway toward my bedroom. Something stirred me from my sleep, though I couldn't quite tell what. A soft rustling sound, a shift in the air, maybe even just a feeling. I blinked groggily, my vision adjusting to the darkness. My bedside clock read 3:12 a.m. As my senses slowly sharpened, I became aware of a small shadow standing near my bed. A chill ran down my spine before my brain caught up to the situation. It was Liam. He stood still, his small figure barely illuminated by the faint glow of the street lamp outside. His curly hair was slightly disheveled, and his dinosaur pajamas hung loosely on his tiny frame. His hands clutched something tightly against his chest, his fingers curling around it protectively. His face, usually so full of playful mischief or curiosity, was unreadable in the dim light. "Liam?" My voice was hoarse from sleep. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" He hesitated for a long moment, before taking a slow step closer. His bare feet barely made a sound against the carpet. He looked down at the object in his hands, gripping it tighter as if trying to find the courage to speak. Then, with the softest whisper, he finally said, "I need to fix something." I rubbed my eyes, still trying to wake up fully. "Fix what, baby?" Without answering, he carefully reached out and placed a crumpled piece of paper on my nightstand. In the dim glow, I could just make out what it was: a drawing. One of those simple, colorful sketches he was always making, usually of us. I picked it up, smoothing out the creases, and my heart clenched at what I saw. It was a picture of me, Liam and his dad, all holding hands. But something about it was different from the usual drawings he made. The lines looked fresh, like they had been added just recently. And then I noticed there was an extra figure, one that hadn't been there before. A fourth person. A wave of cold washed over me. I looked at Liam, my pulse quickening. "Sweetheart, who is this?" His little hands wrung together, his lip trembling slightly, before he whispered, "Dad said I should put him back." The room suddenly felt too quiet, the air too still. I forced myself to swallow the lump forming in my throat. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" He shifted on his feet, glancing at the bedroom door, as if expecting someone else to be standing there. His voice was even softer this time. "Dad came to my room. He sat on my bed and said he missed us. He told me to fix the picture, to make it right." My breath hitched. I wanted to tell him it was just a dream, that his mind had created something comforting, but the way he spoke so certain, so firm, made my chest tighten. I reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. "Did you have a dream about him?" He shook his head. "No, Mom. He was really there." His eyes, wide and earnest, held no trace of doubt. My rational mind screamed that it was impossible. His father, my husband, had been gone for 2 years. Liam had been too young to fully understand at the time, and even now, he rarely mentioned him. It was as if his little heart had decided that the best way to cope was to push the pain aside. And yet, here he was, in the middle of the night, saying his father had visited him, that he had spoken to him, that he had told him to fix the picture. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. My fingers traced the lines of the drawing, the newly added figure standing between us, his presence unmistakable. My husband had always loved Liam's drawings. He used to tape them to the fridge, proud of every single scribble our son created. Tears stung my eyes as I looked back at Liam, who was watching me with quiet anticipation. I forced a smile, though my voice wavered. "Thank you for fixing the picture." Liam's shoulders relaxed, and he gave me a sleepy nod. "Dad says he loves us." A tear slipped down my cheek as I reached out, pulling him into my arms. His small body pressed against mine, warm and real, grounding me in that moment. I kissed the top of his head, holding him close. We love him too, I whispered. Liam let out a soft sigh, his breath tickling my neck. Within moments, his body went slack as sleep reclaimed him. I stayed like that for a long time, holding him against me, my heart aching with something I couldn't quite put into words. That night, I didn't sleep much. Instead, I lay awake, staring at the drawing beside me, my mind turning over Liam's words again and again. Maybe it had been a dream. Maybe it had been his way of coping with the loss, a child's mind finding comfort in a memory. Or maybe, just maybe, love never really leaves.